How many of you guys know this symbol? How many of you know the oath? In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let all who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Good job. Good job. That's a core value of the Green Lantern's Corps. You guys, I'm a huge comic book fan. Anime, manga, comic books. Have been since I was a kid. We're here to talk about heroes and heroism. I'm going to get one thing very clear. Athletes are not heroes. I'm not standing up here talking to you as a former NFL player because I'm a hero. Far from it. But I believe one's actions, whether heroic, altruistic, can be viewed that way. So I've heard some great information about what a hero is, what a hero is not. What I can tell you is that the things that you do, the actions that you take, the core of your being, and how you program yourself will give you the opportunity to be heroic when the time comes. Things like the Lantern Corps Oath have been with me since I was a kid. Since I was a little kid getting bullied. Picked on because I was too small, skinny, smart, glasses, all that stuff, so I'm considered a nerd, but I don't see how that works anymore when you got Bill Gates running the world. But that was the life I lived as a kid. So I immersed myself in fiction and wanted to model and be like, of course, my heroes. We all do. I wanted to be like them. It helped me in many different facets of my life. In athletics, because I believed that I could run and jump faster than the next kid if I worked hard enough. I saw the stories. I saw the struggles. I watched them go through it, so I could do that. But as I'm learning those things, I also learned the core values that came along with it. The doing the right thing, the sticking with your teammates, to not make the bad decisions, to stand up for what is right, to defend those who can't defend themselves. That's all wrapped up in that as well. The comic book heroes are not all about the boom and the smash and the bang. It's about the individual struggles to maintain the core value that makes you considered a hero. That's how I broke through my barriers to become the man that I am today, and I'm continuing to evolve. Every day we get hit with the same challenges. Just because I became bigger and stronger, I couldn't be physically bullied anymore, which was good. I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy that. It was the core values that turned me into the person that I am and made me not retaliate. Made me not choose to be the bully. Made me not choose to go to the dark side. It's so easy, wouldn't you think? I mean, think about it. I'm in the same school with the same kids, the same people. Middle school, over the summer, Nolan grew 4 inches. Uh-oh. Nolan was doing push-ups and sit-ups at home over the summertime. Nolan was reading his comic books and running and sprinting through the yard. Nolan got faster. Nolan's looking at me differently now. He's got a little bit more confidence. He's standing up straight. I might not want to mess with him. But what I did was I decided I was going to help others. Because although I grew, my friends didn't. That's when I started to believe in the traits that I was learning. Asked to be a bodyguard by my best friend when I was little. Because I could defend him, and now we didn't have to both take that butt whooping. I could now help. I could now defend. I had to make that choice, but it was so easy because I was already programmed. It was already in me. Another core thing about the Lantern's power is will. You can will yourself to do anything. Anything. You can will yourself to take that step, to help that person, to not let someone be bullied, to not let that word be spoken to someone, to not let those situations go by you, as we heard earlier, to not be a bystander. But you have to have the tools. And I find them in my fiction. You can find them in the places that you look, but they're there. Your parents might give you those tools. Your friends might give you those tools. That courage, that will. The one thing that destroys that will is fear. If you're afraid, and that's okay. It's okay to be afraid, because standing up for others will have consequences. It will. But the most important thing is if you will yourself through it. You get knocked down. We all do. You get knocked down, you will yourself to get back up, because in your heart and your mind, you did the right thing. And yeah, it's going to hurt. Or maybe not. But that willing to make that next step, to take that step for somebody else, to be more than just yourself, that to me is heroism. That to me is what the true meaning of it is. Because it will hurt. It will. High school. Now, mind you, I'm now the bodyguard and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, hey, this is great. People are, they're different to me now. Things have changed. One night out with all of my friends, and a kid came home from college, football player. So of course here I am, the sophomore football player. He's a freshman in college, much bigger than me, much stronger than me. And he left school being the bully. He came back worse. He came back worse because he went into an environment where he was the small fry. So of course, what did he want to do? Come back and reestablish his dominance against us high school kids. I took that stand in front of him, ended up on my back on a car. Luckily, nothing else happened. But to my dismay, the next day, instead of the hero's reward, they blamed me for the fight. They said I caused it, and I got my butt kicked. Interesting how that turns out, right? I willed myself to stand up to somebody who was bigger and stronger than me, and the reward I got was ridicule and blame. You have to be prepared to accept those things sometimes. And did it hurt? Yes. Because people are afraid to make the right choice. But if they see you continuously make that right choice, it'll turn. You can't blame them initially because maybe they haven't had that core value. They don't have the oath in their head. But if you show them, if you are that light for them, they'll see it. They'll brighten underneath it, and they'll grow with you. That led me into college. If any of you saw my TED Talk, I had an opportunity to stop a rape. It was instinctual by the time I got to school. Someone's in trouble. I've got a sister. I've got a mother. No one helped. I chased him off. Those are moments. I was scared to death. But I was more scared about not catching the guy than catching him and what I would do. And I didn't catch him. I didn't. But thank goodness she was safe. What if I hadn't been there? What if I'd let it go by? I was down the hall. You hear screaming in dorms all the time. What if I hadn't programmed myself already to think that's not right. To be curious enough to go find out and to will myself into action. You can program yourself for that. You can program yourself for those actions. Willing yourself, like I said, can be into different forms. I played 10 years in the National Football League. I willed myself through multiple injuries. Getting drafted 6th round out of 12, I willed myself to be more than just a football player. Chasing guys like John Elway. Having to be great in the eyes of others. But that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Football does not define me. It doesn't define who I am. As a person, as a father, as a husband, as a citizen, it does not define me because of what I have in here. Allow me to take those next steps, and unfortunately, you've seen that people are letting their environments define them. You have to be a brighter light than that. You cannot let the darkness around you diminish your light because others are seeking it. They're seeking it. They see it and they're trying to come to it. Stay strong that way. Got to put Brett in here because it's Brett Favre. That's the DDT right there. Three River Stadium. Oh yeah, I got him. But these are the things that we go through. But this led me to my next choice, my next stand. It's hardest to stand up for what is right, especially in an environment that is hostile towards your ideals. In the NFL, chop blocking has been or was an established play practice since leather helmets were available. The chop block is a block where an offensive lineman can dive on the back of a defensive player's legs. That play was ending the careers of many of my fellow brothers, and no one was taking a stand. I got hurt. The saddest part about it, it was my old college teammate who got me. In preseason, I'll never forget, I looked up at him, I'm like, what are you doing? High ankle sprain, which, just in case you guys don't feed into the media, that means a broken ankle. So anytime you hear somebody say, oh, he has a high ankle sprain, that's a broken ankle. Broken. My own teammate from college had fallen that deep. I decided to go on a campaign to end chop blocking. Now understand this. This is the National Football League. They generate revenue from all of you loving to see the big runs, the passes and the catches, not what happens to us grunts in the trenches. So when I proposed that they ban chop blocking, what do you think happened? I was shocked at the response I got. Threats from other offensive linemen on other teams. Oh, he's scared of getting chop blocked. Well, we for sure gonna make sure he gets a chop block now. I'm playing against the other team and I'm looking across like, hey, watch your knees, Nolan. Watch your knees. Trying to intimidate me out of my cause. Too many guys had fallen. I was just recovered. But it was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I had other defensive linemen in the national press saying that, well, it's your fault. You should have moved your feet. If you were more of an athlete, you wouldn't have got hit from behind. My own guys. You can't let that deter you. You can't let that stop what your cause is. You have to will yourself forward through all of that. I got a chance to get in front of the competition committee and present my case. And the wonderful thing is the organization I work for now, the NFL Players Association, was there to help me. Other defensive up. And we presented the case to then Commissioner Tagliabue and the head of officials and coaches like Bill Cowher, Rich McKay, his GM, Denny Green, Mike Holmgren, all in the room, all these offensive coaches, sitting there saying to me, well, Nolan, how are we supposed to run the football? That was what they said to me. I showed them film of multiple players. A few of them, their careers were ended, all on film. I had petitions from all 32 front seven across the whole National Football League. And the first question they asked was, how are we going to run the football? So I had to ask them, do you cut your own players in practice? Well, no. Why not? Because we could get them hurt. So if you won't cut your own guys in practice, and you believe that you've had a perfect practice to get ready to go play the game against your heated rival, why would you encourage your offensive linemen to go and cut the opposing player? Unless it's to intimidate or to maim. And they had no answer. To my delight, and after a 4-year struggle, the NFL banned shot blocking and made it a finable offense. And it was one of the greatest accomplishments I've ever had. The fear was over. It was done. Luckily, my career was over at that point, too, so maybe I didn't have to deal with any reprisals. But that was for the better good of everyone else. To this day, most people don't even remember it. They just know if they do it, they get fined. I did it because it was the right thing to do, to stand up for what is right, to defend those who won't or cannot defend themselves. That's where that core came from. That's where that all originated, and it's still in me today. When I talk to my girls, I've got 2 girls, so I won't have a problem having my sons play football. I have to ask that question. Although my youngest went to play flag, which I thought was outstanding. But today, they are being exposed to all of the wonderful things that I've got running around in my head. I call them my little Amazonians. Quite obviously, they are tall. But thank goodness they're beautiful like their mother. But that is how I'm raising my 13 and 11-year-old, to have that imagination, to will themselves forward, to step up for their friends and those who are getting bullied at school, because it's happening to them every single day. Every single day. And they know the oath like I do. So I want you guys all to stand up. Everybody can internalize this. This can be yours. You can pick something else, but this works for me. I want everybody to repeat after me. We'll do it together. Arms up. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Nolan Harrison's light. You're supposed to put your own in there. Thank you.
The Hero Roundtables are the global events that ask the question, what is a hero? You've just seen one hero talk. To find more and join the conversation, visit our website or social media.